Welcome to That's So Nourishing. I'm Ashley Crooks, an intuitive healer, somatic practitioner, and nervous system coach, and I will be your host for this podcast. I'm so stoked that you're here. In this podcast, we're going to be breaking the mold. We're going to be going against what society might have taught you. In society, we're told that as women, we have to be a certain way. We have to perform. If we're too bright, we might make someone uncomfortable, so we dim our light and we play small. Or that we need to give, and serve all these other people at the expense of ourselves. Or that if we're too loud or we say what's on our mind, that it's too much or that it could be rude. And so as women, there's so many narratives in our society of how we're supposed to be. Ultimately, it leads us to perform in ways and can really confine ourselves to these roles, whether it's mom, daughter, wife, sister, employee, boss, whatever it might be, these roles that aren't who we actually are. And they end up holding us back. So we end up overriding ourselves, self-sacrificing, self-abandoning what we actually know to be true, to fit in, to just be normal because we think that's the way life has to be, or to just get by. And that's not at all what I stand for or how this life has to be lived. We are meant for so much more. And you're here because you know that. There's this piece inside of you that knows that you're meant for big things, or that knows that, yeah, you can hold it all, but you want to do it in a way that feels really good for you. And you know that maybe what you've been told about your personality, about who you are, you know that maybe that's who you've had to be, but there's more of you that wants to be expressed. And you know that when society says these limiting rules or structures that we're put on, that's just not it. And there's so much of a bigger picture and so much more to life. That the right answer, the ways we've been taught in school to follow the system, that's just keeping us stuck. And that we can just blast off when we truly root to who we are at our core, to finding our own way, to what actually supports us. Regardless of what anyone else says, regardless of what we should be doing, and regardless of if there's a structure for that or a rule, and ultimately rooting to our core. Because I believe that as nourished women, when we truly root to ourselves, that is when we can rise, and from there we can really create a ripple effect in the world. There's this idea in society that we can't have it all. That if one area of our life is good, that somewhere else has to be off. Or that we need to hustle really hard to get it. And we mess up our bodies, our nervous system, right? We fight against ourselves. Well, I call BS on that. And in this podcast, we're going to focus on a holistic view of life as the whole woman. So that not only can you have a career and a business that lights you up, that you know you're making an impact, that you're excited to wake up to each day, but you can also have a partner or a relationship that just feels passionate and exciting, that you feel so great to be in. And as a parent, that you know that you're parenting from your heart and you're proud of how you're parenting. And your kids respect you and give you that, and you have a really supportive relationship together. And that in your relationships with your friends, that they're so rich and heartfelt. And you know who you are outside of your work. You have different interests and hobbies. And ultimately, most important of all, that you come back to yourself, and your relationship with yourself is so strong and so nourishing. Because I believe when we pour into ourselves first, then our cup becomes full. And that's when we can truly change not only ourselves, our families, our local environments, but truly change the world. So in this podcast, I'm going to be sharing through different tips, tricks, tools, ideas, stories, perspective shifts, universal laws, nervous system tools, ways that you can really root down to who you are, remove all the conditioning, unlearn those patterns that you've been holding on to, and ultimately come back to you, discovering who your true self is. And being lit up by life, really being able to be present in the life that you've created, be able to really make the most of each moment and express yourself fully, whatever that might mean to you. So it's my mission to foster that throughout this podcast. And I'm going to be just showing you so many different ways and really like weaving it in all throughout every single episode so that you can truly feel nourished. Because for far too long, women have been self-sacrificing. We've been abandoning ourselves. We've been getting lost in what we feel like we should do or society expects of us. And no more, sister. Through this podcast, like I said, I am really here to lift you up and help you discover more of who you are. Because for me, in my life, that has been such a big journey, and it has been truly the most important one that I've been on. So if you are ready to fully claim yourself, to step into your power, to root into who you are in your core, and to pull back the layers and come back to yourself, then buckle up, because as we get genuinely lit up by life, this is going to be quite the ride, and I cannot wait to have you on board. So let's get nourished.